All right, guys, so Sukhasana. So cross your legs at your mid-shins. Once you get your legs crossed at the mid-shins, lean over one side to the other, hand upper hamstring, lower buttock, rotate out. Also draw back. So the flesh from the outer knee moves back towards the outer hips. And then your outer hips move down towards your mat. Your outer knees, as you exhale, let them relax, and they move towards the mat. See if you can feel your outer ankle bones against your yoga mat or your blanket. With your outer ankle bones, see if you can feel that they're against your blanket or against your yoga mat. And then take your fingertips into your mat or your blanket. Press and lift your side rib cage. Spread your collarbone. Here's your breastbone. You want to move your breastbone out as well as your collarbone spreads. And at the very tops of your arms, extend out side to side. Draw your abdominal wall back. Bring your sacrum and your tailbone down towards your mat. Keep your elbows bent. Close your eyes. Take a few rounds of Ujjayi breath. Next exhalation, bring your hands together at your heart center. The inner arms move in towards your outer rib cage and extend the tips of your elbows down towards your blanket. Few more rounds of Ujjayi breath. This is an audible inhalation, audible exhalation. As you inhale, move your inhalation out into your outer body so you'll broaden or expand the inhalation. And as you exhale the breath, move the exhalation through the nose. See if you can make the inhale and the exhale even. I'll chant Om. Join in or you're welcome to just listen. Exhale your breath, bow your head, bring your chin to the groove of your neck. Bring your hands down to the tops of your legs, center your head, and as you exhale the breath, you can slowly open the eyes and release the hands. Very good, guys. Take blocks if you need them, one to the outer right leg and one underneath the left hand. I'm going to bend the right elbow and place the right fingertips on the block that's outside of the right leg. I'm going to push the block underneath the left hand out in front of me, tuck the chin towards the groove of the neck. As I take an exhale here, I'll lift the block up because I'm gripping over the block with the left fingers. I'll lift the block and move it slightly over to the right. Move the back left rib cage down towards the inner left knee. Inhale, look out in front of you or look towards your block or your left hand, and exhale, grip your block, bring it back towards you. If you weren't using a block, you'll do the same thing except the hand is against the yoga mat. So the block now moves right outside of the left leg, right below the knee, right outside of the left leg. The block is against the right hand. Come forward, lean forward, press down into the block with your left fingertips to give a lift of the navel away from the pubic bone. And then as you grip the block, push it forward. Push it straight out in front of you. And you want your right arm very, very long here. With your next exhalation, lift the block with the right hand, move it to the left. Extend the right arm out a little bit deeper. You can even bring your fingers together. Press down into your block with your right hand or your mat. Bring your right shoulder blade into the body. Tuck your chin. Now your right back rib cage can move away from your spine and turn down towards your mat. And then grip your block and bring it back towards you. Perfect. Uncross and recross opposite. And then again, adjust the buttock flesh. I'm going to take, and you can use blocks. So if you're going to use blocks out in front of you, go ahead and bring them forward. And if you're not, you can just sit against the mat, move forward a little bit so the lower buttock flesh is at the edge of the blankets. And again, make sure you're crossed at your mid shins. Take L shape with both of your hands, bring them to the tops of your legs. Externally rotate, rotate out. So draw out and down. Shift the navel, lift the belly button up away from the pubic bone, come forward, draw the thumbs down and back. Go back with your thumbs, guys. Watch, look this direction, so don't do this. But as you draw down and back, resist. Use the side rib cage and resist away from your thumbs. Bring your front body parallel to the mat, one arm and hand out at a time in front of you. Take your time. Don't round your spine. Your spine should move in and up. Your spine moves into the body and up towards the back of your head. Now use your hands. Use the rotation of your arms to keep your chest open. So you don't want to concave your chest. You don't want to concave the abdominal area. So press down and elongate. Make the spine long. And then grip your blocks and pull them back towards you. So when we come forward, guys, we want to avoid this. You see? So what I want you guys to do is even come up onto your fingertips, lift your torso up some, elongate. So move the navel up and away from the pubic bone. Your resistance is here and here. So don't allow this concaving in the chest or concaving in the belly. But you want to keep the length. You want to keep moving the spine up towards the top of the head, okay? So go ahead and let's stretch the legs out, rotate the flesh. And then bring your inner legs together and bring your inner ankle bones together and then draw your center heels here down. So bring your heel bones down, use a strap, and listen, don't start like this. So pretend that there is a wall behind you. There's a wall behind your back. If there was a wall behind your back, I would want you to lift up, flatten the spine, move the spine in, and watch the arm bones. Spread the arm bones out. So don't start like this because then we end up folding like this. So start very, very tall. Tops of the shoulders down. Use a strap if you need to. Otherwise, take your arms out. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, come forward. Keep your spine long. Grab your heels. You have to make your arms really long to do that. Inhale and lift up. Draw your hands into your heel bones. And exhale, fold. Widen your elbows out to the sides and bring your chin down towards the groove of your neck. So bring some length in your spine, guys. Bring your back rib cage in and up. Bring your navel up away from your pubic bone. Yes, you feel a deep stretch in the backs of your legs. Don't round. Don't round. If you're hollow in the chest or you're hollow in the belly, look down and see if you can create more space. Don't fold until there is enough space to do so. And then inhale, stretch up, and exhale to release. Perfect. Let's go ahead and move our blankets to the side. And what I'm going to do is come over onto the heels of the feet and watch, watch, watch. I'll lift my bottom up, take my index and middle finger and tuck my outer heels in. And then I'll sit directly on top of my heels. Both of my sitting bones lined up with my heel bones. I'm going to first walk forward, lengthen the side ribs. I'll keep the length in the side rib, keep the side ribs inside of the inner knees, and then I'll walk the arms over. You can then bend the right elbow, lengthen out the left, roll the left back rib down, move your hips from the right to the left, bring the chin down. Okay, so the same idea is that we don't round the spine or we lift the bottom up. Go ahead and come seated on top of your heels. And if your bottom's not going to stay on your heels, bring a blanket between your bottom and your heel bone. Lift your bottom, take your index and your middle finger to your heels, tuck in. Hold them in as you sit right on top of your heels. Sitting bones and heels lined up. Come forward. So again, let's do the L shape. Let's draw down and reach back. So draw your thumbs into your upper legs. Draw back as you come forward. Bring one arm and one hand out in front at a time. Stay on your fingertips. Keep your torso lifted up away from your mat and walk your arms out. As you exhale the breath, bring your palms down, but keep your elbows lifted away from your mat. Keep your inner wrist bones away from your yoga mat. Walk your hands and arms over to the right. Keep your right side rib cage inside of your inner right knee. Bend your right elbow, bring it outside of your right leg. Push into your mat, move your right hip to the left. Take your back left rib cage down, bring your forehead down, or bring your chin down. Don't round your spine. Don't round your spine. So lengthen out your right side rib and your back side rib. And then as you exhale, come back through the center and walk over in the opposite direction. So as you move over, first make sure that your side rib cage line up with your inner knee. Keep your left side rib inside of your inner left knee. You can bend the left elbow, bring it right outside of the hip, push your weight into from the left to the right. Stay on your fingertips a moment until you can maintain this lift of the side ribs. Once you get that, bring the palm down, but keep the elbow lifted and keep the wrist bone lifted. Your chin comes down, your weight moves over so that there's even weight in the heels. Great. And then exhale to release. Perfect. Perfect. Very good, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to the wall. And I'm going to use my blanket still, but you don't necessarily have to use a blanket. And I'm going to do child's pose once more, but against the wall. So I'll bring the big toes together behind me, the heels apart. And again, I want to make sure that I'm tucking my outer heels in so that my outer hips are tucked in. External rotation. Take the arms up, and not here, but really get the arms up. Move the torso in until you get maximum length here. So you can even take your hands to your upper leg bone, draw down, walk the arm up. Do that on both sides. Once you get the arms up, press the palms, move the chest towards the wall and the forehead onto the wall without arching your back. So you don't arch your lower back to do this, but rather you bring your abdominal wall back towards your spine. Make sure that your outer legs are tucked in and that your bottom is not lifting off of your heels. So stretch your arms up. Now move your belly button back and bring your sacrum down strongly. Good. Let your shoulder blades glide towards your hands. So your shoulder blades, lift them up. Let them go up towards your hands. Lift your back rib cage up, but bring your sacrum down. Bring your tailbone down. Bring the lower part of your front rib cage towards your spine or down. Great. And then exhale to release. Perfecto. Perfect. Okay, we can move ourselves away from the wall. And I'm going to take one block and take a moment in dog pose. So I'm going to bring this block, and maybe we'll do it with a blanket as well, but I'm going to do this, bring this block, and I'm going to come hands and knees with my breastbone lined up over this block. Don't bend the elbows, don't bend the kneecaps. So watch, I'll really stretch the arms out, the inner wrist to the front of your wrist, watch, instead of bringing them all the way down to the mat, I lift up. Come to your knees, take your toes underneath you, keep your wrist bones lifted away from the mat, press your weight back, bring your forehead down, straight elbows, straight kneecaps. Straight elbows and straight kneecaps. You may have to use more than one block, one stacked on top of the other, but don't bend the knees and don't bend the elbows to reach your head to your mat or to your blocks. Take your legs back. So go back further than you guys are. So if your heels are easily against your yoga mat, Lift your heel bones up, both of them, and wiggle your legs and your feet back. Bring your heels down. Try each time. Each time you take your legs further back, bring your heels down. Now take your inner knees and rotate them back. Take your upper inner thighs, rotate them back as to your legs can come closer to your hands if possible. Good. Good. Now press. Great. So let's get the length in the spine. Perfect. A few more moments here. You'll gently draw the abdominal wall back and open up the backs of your legs. So your legs open, your kneecaps open, your knee pits open. Great. Great. And then exhale to release. Good. Let's come down for just a moment, and you can come down onto the hands and the knees. You can come down onto your bottom for a moment. And we don't normally do this one, but I think I'm going to do it today. So I've got blocks, and I'm going to bring the blocks underneath the hands, and I'm going to do upward dog. So I've got the two blocks underneath the hands. I'm going to keep the elbows straight, and I'm going to come onto my toes. Push down into the blocks, turn the inner eyes of the elbows forward, move the hips forward, but keep pushing. So when I move the hips forward, it's not this. You see, I want to move the hips forward, but keep pressing into the heels to lift the chest and take the gaze back, okay? So upward facing dog, two hands on the blocks. I had my blocks on the medium level. Maybe the lower level is good for you. Put your hands on your blocks. Your blocks are out in front of you. Grip your blocks. Push down, guys. Turn the inner eyes of your elbows towards the top of your mat. And as you exhale your breath, lift your chest, move your breastbone up, take your shoulders down, take your gaze back, stay on your toes, stay on your toes, stay on your toes, but move your hips forward, your shoulders back and down. So roll your shoulders back and down. Good. Keep your legs lifted, press your thigh bones to the ceiling, and then move your heel bones back, and then exhale to release. Great. Now, the next time that we do, we're going to do that same step. But what I'll do is I'll come from the top, again, from the toes, and then go down onto the toenails. So just watch me for a moment. I've got the blocks big because, or medium, because it takes me a lot to get this lift of the side rib cage, simply because my thoracic spine is tight. I'm tight here between the shoulder blades. So it's really hard to concave the middle of the back and to lift the chest for me. Okay, so watch. So I'm going to start on the toes just like we did before. And this time I'm going to step one foot up at a time, getting my hips closer to the blocks. Push down. Watch the inner eyes of the elbows. Rotate forward. Shoulders down. Lift the chest. Move your hips towards your hands. And then I'll come down one at a time onto the toes. Press through the toenails. Lift. Press through the toenails, though, so the feet are very active once they come down to the mat. So start with your blocks, and let's see about where they are, what location they are. Right up, right under your shoulders, your hands against your blocks. And you start on your toes. And then lean in, bring the tops, roll the tops of your shoulders down. Move your hips forward and up. Roll the top, good. Roll the tops of your shoulders down, press through your heels. With your next exhalation, keep your legs lifted and see if you can bring one set of your toenails down at a time. Legs lifted, shoulders back and down, shoulders back and down. Look back behind you. Great. Perfect. And exhale, release. Excelente. Excellent. Uh-oh. Just get a bowl for it or something. Okay, so move your blocks to the side. I don't know why I've got these back bends going, but we'll come down onto the belly. And then I'm going to come down onto my forearms. We'll do a half of Bekasana. So when I come down, I want to press and lift the chest. Tops of my shoulders, again, we don't want to do this. Tops of the shoulders down. I'm going to bring the left arm across, and I want the elbow underneath the shoulder, and I still want to lift the chest. I'll bend the right knee, and as I bend the knee, I'm going to bend it in as far as I can, keeping the pubic bone grounded. Watch what I mean not to do. This is what I mean not to do. So you want to bring the pubic bone down, relax the buttocks, lift the right leg, bend the knee as much as you can, bringing the heel right over the bottom. I'll lift with the left arm, reach behind me. Watch, keep watching, guys. I want to walk the fingers over the toes, and I'm going to rotate that right hip down and bring my right heel to my right sitting bone. Make your right knee longer, bring the front of your right hip down, and we'll release and switch. Okay, so come onto your belly first, and then come onto your forearms. And then with that, you press down and lengthen the front of your leg. So your pubic bone comes down, but your bottom relaxes. Press through your forearms and lift your chest. Now, bend your right knee without grabbing the foot. Just bend the right knee and see if you can keep pubic bone grounded, keep the bottom relaxed, point the right toes, make the right kneecap longer, and see how close you can get your right heel to your right sit bone. Now stay lifted on your left elbow and grab behind you, go inside of your right foot. Slowly walk your fingertips over your right toes. Your right elbow goes up to the ceiling, guys. Your right elbow stays bent and your right elbow goes up to the ceiling. And bring your heel down to your sit bone. And now make the front of your right leg, first bring it down onto your mat and then make it longer. Now lift your chest using your left elbow and your left forearm and exhale, release. Perfect. Perfect. Now, and one thing that I notice can happen, and it happens with me as well, as sometimes when I bend this knee, it goes out to the side a little bit. But our our goal is going to be to keep this knee, the kneecap, the bent knee moving back. So watch what happens when I grab and I try to pull in. I feel like this knee now went out to the right. It went out to the right at an angle. I need to bring it in and then down. So this knee moves back towards the bottom edge of the mat, but I need to keep it in line. So I don't want it to rotate out to the side. So go to your other side. Don't forget that you're using your forearm. You're using your forearm. So don't lift your hip up so your hip doesn't lift. Bring both of your hip points to the mat. Bend the left knee first and lift the left foot up, and then just see how you can do that on your own without using your hand. How far can you actually bend that knee? Right. And now reach behind. You've still got to have this action of making that left kneecap longer. Reach inside of the foot and then go over the top. Now pretend that there's someone there drawing the kneecap back. So kind of moving the kneecap away. Good. Now bend the elbow, the fingers go over the toes. Bend the elbow, tip of your left elbow up, make the front of your left leg longer, close it to the mat. Push with your right elbow to lift up your chest. Great, and exhale to release. Perfect. Perfect. And then let's go ahead and let's press back into Adho Mukha Virasana. Keep your elbows and your wrists lifted for a moment. Stretch out through your arms, really stretch your arms, and then strongly bring your sacrum down. And then as you exhale, let your elbows bend and rest on the yoga mat. Go ahead and let's bring our head up some in our torso. Lift your elbows up And then let's go ahead and as you stretch your arms out, you can bend your elbows, bring them down, and let's see if we can bend the elbows here and grab the elbows with our hands. And then I'm going to draw back, let the inner parts of the elbows stretch back against the mat, and bring my forehead close to my arms. Maybe it can come all the way down. My whole goal, guys, is that we're getting those armpits open and that the shoulder blades, you feel the shoulder blades come in and down or in and back. You feel the shoulder blades moving into the back, tops of the shoulders away. And then lift your head, straighten out your arms, and then switch the way you hold the elbows. So you straighten and then hold opposite. Try to get a good grip, bring the inner elbow down, and then draw back, kind of pull back away. So your bottom, really try to stretch your bottom back and your leg bones back, and let the yoga mat catch the inner part of the arm. And then you can exhale, straighten the arms out. And then let's look to the hands. Let's come one more time into dog pose. This time you don't have the block, but we should have the length in the side ribs and the spine. You can actually turn the fingers out slightly, very slightly, away from your midline to really get that opening of your upper arms and your chest. So you can rotate your upper arm bones externally or out. Your chest will open. Keep your ears in line with your upper arms. Perfect. And then exhale, release. Just come down and you guys can rest any way that you'd like to. And I'm going to take my blocks side by side. And I want to do, I'll see how much room you guys have, but anyway, I'm going to come over in front of the blocks and even bend the knees and reach down, and I'll grab the blocks with my fingertips. Then I'm going to step up 1 foot at a time. And when I do that, let me start with the right foot so you guys can see. So I bring the base of the toe joints up, and then I bring the heels down. And it's hard, and I've got to really draw this block in to get that resistance to bring the heel down, lift the inner arch up, and draw the hip back. And then I'll step up opposite here, and I'll press in and lean forward. Now I'm trying to relax the toe some. I can even walk the arms out here. And then we'll see if we can come tall. Now, in order to stand completely up, you've got to bring the bottom down, so top of the buttocks down, upper legs back, arms up. Oh, that felt great. So bend your knees so that you can step your feet up. Bend your knees as you go in front of your blocks. Bend your knees and step 1 foot up at a time. Step onto the base of the joint, toe joint. Bend the knees to do that. And once you get there, bring your fingertips to the opposite edge of the block or to the front of the block. Press in, draw in, but lean forward, guys. So everyone rock forward. Keep your heels very active. That's it. Now here, your arches should be lifted. The block is doing that. The block, I want you guys to feel the blocks are helping you to lift the arches of your feet up. Now, as you lift the arches, lift all the way up. Lift the inner ankle bones, lift the inner knees, lift the quadriceps. Guys, you have to lift the quadriceps. I see kneecaps that are not engaged. Engage the kneecaps and draw up. Great. You can walk your arms forward, stretching the arms out. Good. Bring your sit bones over your heels. Great. And then as you exhale, come back towards your blocks and see if you can stand. You have to stretch the kneecaps up. Bring the buttocks down, bottom down. Take the arms up. So the arms can go up as well. Great, 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 great. And then exhale, release. Perfect. And that isn't what I was going to do next, but go ahead and let's move our blocks just for a moment to the side. And I'm going to take a strap and a wall for the fingertips. And so make a loop in your yoga strap I want to do, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. I have to check you guys' wall space to see what I can see. Nothing, just kidding. Okay, so I'm going to come to the wall with the left hip and just bend the left elbow and place the left fingertips there. Just watch, guys. Hold the strap in the right hand. And I'm going to practice this for a moment, just bending this knee up high to the chest. So what typically happens, if you guys will hold on a moment, what typically happens is this. And then you can never straighten back up. So how we get the strap around the foot is watch, 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 watch. We go up, so that kneecap goes straight up. You keep the torso lifted, bring the belt around the foot, hold inside of the loop. Push, you've got to push into the strap, but draw the hand back, lift the right leg. And I want us to lift the right leg. So let's get it higher than waist level. And maybe engage the lower buttock, maybe bring the left hand to the left hip. How do we get out of this? Watch. Bend again. So now my right arm's inside of the knee, remove the strap, bring the foot down. Okay, so let's try to get that much control here. And if you don't have a wall, you can hold whatever you've got, the sofa back or whatever. But left fingertips to the wall and be in Tadasana. So don't arch the back, but go ahead and bring the sacrum and the tailbone down, draw the belly back, bring the belly under the front rib cage. Put your left fingertips on the wall and go ahead and let's just lift the right knee up to the chest without the strap. Just lift the knee up, hold it up as high as you can, move it in. So everyone move that right leg and hip internally, move it towards your midline. That's it, Esther. And then exhale, release. Now do it again. This time you're going to place the strap around the foot, but lift the knee just as like you did the first time. Lift the knee up, all the way up to the chest. Hold and place the strap there. Keep the torso long. Now, keep the knee there. Straighten the lower half of the right leg. Excelente. Keep your leg towards your midline, everyone. Keep that right leg in. Perfect. Straighten it, Diana. Push into the strap. Push into the strap. Everyone bend the elbow and lift the right foot up higher. Lift the right leg up. Great. And then exhale, bend the knee and release. Perfect. I didn't say take the fingertips away, but we can. Okay, so switch sides. So first practice bringing the knee up. First practice this. And I want you to bring it up and hold it up. Hold it, lift it as high as you can, and it doesn't come here, it stays in. And then bring it down. And then lift it again. This time bring the strap around the foot. Good. Strap around the foot. Keep the knee lifted, and then push into the strap to straighten the knee. That's it. That's it. That's it. Straighten the knee. Good. Now you'll bend the elbow, push into the strap. Draw the hand into the strap, lift the left leg up. Make sure that left leg stays internal. Don't lean back, Paul. Don't lean back. Guys, your torso stays right over your waist. And then bend the knee and release. Perfect. Perfect. Now you can repeat using your strap, or you can try it again, and this time still you can use the wall for just watch, guys. So the only way to achieve this without the strap is if you're going to be able to keep your spine long. Watch. So again, I'm going to get the knee up to the chest, even if I have to hold and bring it up. You see, it doesn't go here. It comes internally. So you're compacted. Think of compacting the hips. And then I'll grab the outer foot. I'll go inside of the knee, grab the foot, keep the chest tall, push into the hand. Draw the hand into the foot. That inner right knee goes down. Right leg stays center, left hand to the hip, and then I'll bend, just like I started, and then I'll bring it down. So don't uncompact your hips. Your hips stay outer thigh, inner growing, outer thigh, inner growing. It is. It's the same thing that we do supine every single practice. So again, bring the knee up, and even if you have to hold below at the shin, lift it up, and then reach inside of your right knee, but grab your outer foot. Keep your chest lifted. Push into your hand, push your foot into your hand. Good. Keep your spine very long. Straighten your left leg and engage your lower left buttock. And then exhale, release. Perfect, guys. Perfect. And do your other side. And then I think maybe we can do it once more with a little bit of attention on those compacting of the hips. So right fingertips to the wall if you need it. Bend the knee up, hold below the knee, draw the knee in. Now reach inside of your foot and grab your outer foot. Keep your spine lifted as you straighten your knee. Keep your spine lifted and push into your hand. Great. To straighten the knee. Keep the left leg centered to your midline and your bottom leg rotating in and back. Don't lean back. Great. And then bend the knee and release. Perfecto. Perfect. Now, I really don't know how this is going to work, but see if it will work. I think we did this yesterday, and I said that the lower buttock, I know it's kind of not cute, but the lower buttock does go up and over that strap, so the lower buttock lifts up. Interesting, right? Lifts up. So I'm going to do the same pose with the strap around the outer hips at the upper legs, and I want to make this snug, but I don't want my feet together. I'm going to hold the wall. Do the same thing. I'm going to lift up. I feel the strap moving the thigh bone down. I'll grab inside a little bit harder, and then I'll draw up again, bringing the kneecap up, and then I'll push in to straighten. So it is really snug, but it does give us an idea of how the hips, bring it down a little bit, Hannah. So you guys bring it down right around your outer hip bone. So not at your hip points, but down here around your lower legs. Yeah. That's it. That's perfect, Grace. Perfect. And then bring it down a little bit more, Hannah, if you can. Yeah. Right back. Yeah, remember the thing with the buttock, lower buttock going over? Check that. And then go outside. Check your meld. Use strap. I think someone will notice. Yeah. Now you can bring your left fingertips to the wall. And then bring your right knee up. And if you can grab and then hold it up as you lean in and reach to the foot. And then grab the foot, straighten the knee. That's great. Straighten the knee. Good. So once you grab the outer foot with your hand, push into your hand to straighten your right knee. Perfecto. Perfect. Straighten the right knee, guys. Keep that right leg in. It doesn't move out. It comes to your midline, and then release and switch sides. Perfect. Perfect. Switch sides. So take your right leg or your opposite leg, lift up, grab inside, or go inside with the arm, but grab the outer foot, and then press through the foot to straighten the left knee. Once you get the left knee straightened, lift the chest. That's it. Lift the chest. Great. Keep the hips internally rotating. Perfecto. And then exhale to release. Excelente. Excelente. And then let's bring our straps off, or take your straps off for a moment. And I think we're gonna do a revolve version, but what I want to do is I want to practice a little bit of that, lifting the leg up so that the leg is parallel to the mat. So I'm going to use a block on the small level, and then I bring my feet as close as I can get. Actually, see if you guys can get your feet completely to touch, the inner ankle bones to touch, and then see if you can straighten the knees. And then that bottom comes down. Just wait for me here. So instead of letting that gap there between the ankle bones, see if you can really roll those inner heel bones down. you'll feel a difference. It's your inner heels and get your feet as close as possible. You can bring your hands to your hips or take your fingertips to the wall, left side. Bring your right leg out in front. Keep your spine long. Lift your right leg up and bring it parallel to the mat. Keep both of your kneecaps straight. Bring it parallel, guys, so it doesn't go out. It stays parallel to the mat. That's great, Esther. Everyone point your right toes. Point, and lift. If the block falls, it falls, but lift. And then release. Perfecto. Excelente, everyone. So you see that you use your inner legs. The block moves down for the top leg and it moves back for the bottom leg. So the flesh on both of your inner thighs continues this rotation. See, so when your leg is up, it's going down. When your foot is on the mat, it's going back. Keep that in mind. So do your other side. Use fingertips or not, but bring your left toes out in front. Make sure your right toes are forward and not rotated out. And then lift your chest and lift your left leg. Don't worry about the block. The block will move because the inner thighs are moving. If the inner thighs hold the block, great, but lift, and point, and exhale, release. Excelente. That was perfecto, guys. Okay, so let's see. Put your blocks to the side, and I'm going to do Parvrita. Oh, that's right. So watch, and Grace, if you don't have a wall, actually, forget that. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stand on my mat like this. I'm just turning so you guys could see. And I'm going to bend my right knee, take my right hand back and grab my right foot. And I'm going to reach back with my left hand, do the same thing. I want to roll the chest up. And then I'm going to push into the hands with the front of the right foot as far as I can. But I'm not going to lean forward. I'm going to stand tall and do that just to kind of open up the chest, okay? So you'll stand tall. Make sure you're in Tadasana. Bring the lower buttock in. Bend the right knee. Grab the right foot, the front of it with your right hand, and then reach behind you with your left. Now bring your right kneecap straight down towards the yoga mat. Right kneecap straight down towards the yoga mat. Grab the foot with both hands. Point your toes. Draw your toes in with your fingertips. Don't lean forward, guys. Draw your toes in towards your bottom and then kick the front of your foot into your hand. Don't lean forward. Just kick the foot in and let the right knee continue to remain towards the mat. Kick the foot into the hand and then exhale, release. Perfect. Switch sides. So it's kind of like a standing. So the tendency is to, once you get here, to try to do this. But I want you guys, as you're here, I want you to use the chest. So press the foot into the hands. You'll open the quadricep, but most of all, you'll open the chest. Okay? Make sure the left kneecap goes down. And the good thing about this is you should only go, or you can only go as far as you're comfortable with. Make sure the left kneecap stays down, lift the chest, hold the foot, point the toes, press the front of your foot into your hand. Press the front of your foot into your hand. Great, 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 great. And then exhale to release. Perfecto. I said we weren't going to do this, but we are. So I'm going to stand again. And this time I'm going to bend the right knee, put the right toes on the mat, and I'm going to go inside of the right foot. And then here may be your pose. Bring the right kneecap down, take the left arm up. Keep the hips facing the floor. Press the front of the right foot into the right hand. Try to keep the hips squared down towards the yoga mat. So the arm can go up and you'll bring the torso over so the torso becomes parallel. So watch again, maybe this is it. Also, if you have a wall, you could be in front of a wall, but here when the knee comes up, grab inside, take the arm up, press into the foot, open up the front leg, the front of your top leg, come forward. Roll the hip down, push into the foot. Push the foot into the hand. That's the most important. And you'll try that. So it's the right inner foot. Push the foot into the hand and only go about halfway parallel with your torso. Good. Good. Keep the outer right hip down, down, down. It'll lift up. And then release and switch. Perfect. So try your other side. So the main thing, guys, is to get the front of the foot that you're holding, the front of that leg open. How would you do that? So instead of focusing on the folding forward part, focus a lot on the pushing the foot into the hand. That's the catch, is to push the foot into the hand as you fold. Push the foot, push the foot, push the foot into the hand, push the foot into the hand. Great, great. Lift the chest. So don't fold all the way where you're folding over and not lifting the chest. And then release. Perfect. Perfect. There was another way to do that, but we're not going to do it. So go ahead and let's come down onto our mat and take a little bit of a blanket, like a small fold in your blanket, and then sit center of your mat on top of your blanket. And I'm going to start with the lower buttock against the blanket, and then I'll take the legs, separate the legs one leg at a time, and instead of letting this inner gully and the flesh of my inner legs rotate this direction, I want them to rotate down like this. So you can use your hands and lift the buttock flesh up and roll the inner groin down. Now watch. So I'll turn so that you guys can see clearly from behind how I want you to treat the blanket against the buttock flesh. So keep watching. Now, don't start like this because that's not a good way to start. So you take the hand and keep watching and rotate up. So back and up. And then I'm going to let the inner groin rotate down. Watch what I do with the blanket. I want to lean forward and I want to lift the blanket up towards the back of my head and roll with it. So you roll with the blanket. You'll stay there. And then you'll reach the left arm all the way across and grab your right heel. You'll really stretch that left side of your body and bend your left elbow and place your nose on your knee. There should not be any rounding, and the torso is more inside of the inner thighs or the inner knee. Now reach out into your left leg. Good. Lift the blanket. Perfecto. And roll with that lift. Don't resist the lift. Roll the inner thighs straight down. And then take the left arm and stretch it all the way across and grab your heel. That's it. Now rotate the left back rib cage down and place your nose on your knee. Now your right fingertips can be on your mat so you can push into the fingertips. Everyone, see if you can point your left toes. Point your left toes. Make your left leg real long. Reach to the left. Reach into the left foot. And then relax the foot. Come up. Come through the center. Switch sides. See, so you can, if you can make that left leg opposite, if you can make the left leg long and have your weight even between your two legs, even though you're folding to the left, you want the left and the right leg to have the same amount of extension. So from behind, if you're here and you've done this, you don't want to do this. Do you see how this is lifted? And it's shorter now. But watch, I want to really reach into that opposite leg to stay even between your sitting bones. Okay? So make sure your torso is forward inside of your inner leg. Come forward and then stretch your right arm across. Grab the heel. Yeah, good. Now you have to bring that torso in a little bit, Esther. Lean a little bit forward with your torso. That's great. That's great. And then stretch that right arm. Grab your heel. Now you can really make your right leg really long by pointing your toes and see if you can stretch the right leg out. Stretch the right leg out to the right. Good. Now rotate the back rib cage down. You can relax your legs. You can relax your feet. Perfecto. And then exhale, come back to the center. Perfect. And then hold behind the knees and bend the knees and then just bring your legs out in front of you. So I'm going to go like this and grab, bend, and then extend out forward. Perfect. Perfect. And then rotate the buttock flesh for a moment. And then let's go ahead and let's come forward and grab your heels with your hands or your outer feet. Let's do a little bit. Let's point the toes on the feet. So point all 10 of your toes and see that that opens up the front of your ankles. Hug your inner elbows into your outer calves and fold. And then inhale to look up and exhale, release. Perfect. So let's try Ustrasana for our back bend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this blanket, and you can use this blanket on your feet. See if I can do one at a time to start. Or you can just spread it out like this, so you've got the shins and the tops of your feet against the prop. And without the wall, but the wall is in my vision, so what I would do is flatten the feet, tops of the feet. So I don't want to do this. I want to really flatten. Bring a second blanket or blocks there and have your knees about hip distance, and we'll do internal. And let's see if I am able to go one arm back at a time. So the sacrum comes down, the bottom comes down, and you can take it out. And when you swing over, really get that lift. So your arm can't do this, or you have no length in your arm. Do you see? So you're making the entire side and that arm long, and you can even look back to grab. And then the same on that other side, grab. And once you grab, press the hips forward, open the chest. So we've been kind of working on opening the chest lately. Now, maybe you need more cushion to kneel down on, have more than one blanket. But once you do this, make sure your ankles are flat, your shins are flat. Take one arm up, take it to the ear, and then swing it over. Make it long to grab the heel. Good. Once you grab your heels, press your hips forward. If your neck is okay, let your head and your neck release back. Press your hips forward. Press your hips. That's it, Esther. Press your hips. Bring your bottom in and open up your chest. Wonderful. And exhale, release. That was so nice, guys. And just sit and rest. And I like that entrance into that. I thought that felt good. So, yeah. I'm going to show y'all one more that we can do. And if you can't do it this way, like Esther, you may have to do it just kneeling from kneeling. But if you can, you'll come into Virasana and just watch me for a moment. In Virasana, since we're sitting, our hips are down and so are the front of my feet, if you notice. So if you had this trouble where your ankles were lifted, start in Virasana. And then I'll bring the fingers to face the toes, roll the shoulders back and down. Just watch me. I'll lift and tuck and then reset. Lift and tuck. And this really feels good on the quadricep and at the right above the kneecap, where a lot of times we get really tight and it pulls and kind of tugs on the kneecap and we have a little bit of knee discomfort, okay? So when you do this and lift and tuck, you really can open up that space where the kneecap connects. So watch. I'll do this a few times and then I'll lift up, tuck, 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 walk in, walking my hands to my heels. Same pose, Ustrasana. Yeah. And then you can release and come back seated. If you can't do that, do it the other way. Do it the first way where you come onto your kneeling and then swing those arms back and over. Or come into Virasana. That's it, Esther. Push your hips forward. That's it. That's it. Come either way you're going to go. Walk into this. Lift the chest. Use the chest, guys. Move the hips. Press into the full pose. Perfect. And then exhale to release. Excelente. And then you guys can rest any way that you want to for a moment. And I'm going to do headstand, but you can do halasana. You can do shirsasana, which is headstand. You can even do wall L. Not my favorite, but good on the shoulders, okay? If you're going to do headstand, make sure that you've got your blanket folded for the top of your head, and make sure that when you interlace your fingers face you, right? So the fingers face you, you can see your fingers, and they go behind your head, outer wrist down, pinky sides of your hands down. You can use the wall for the heels of the feet. You're welcome to keep your heels on the wall, or you can move your heels away from the wall, one heel at a time. A few more moments wherever you are. I didn't mention legs up the wall, but you're welcome to take legs up the wall as part of your inversion or at your inversion. And then you guys can slowly come out of your inversion and release your neck, your shoulders, your arms. So you can do child's pose, or if you want, you can stand and do an Uttanasana. Sometimes I really like Uttanasana if you can add the backs of the hands to it and just kind of let the upper arms release. The backs of your hands are heavy, even though you're not pressing them down, they're relaxed. And then once you are done here, you can take your gaze to your mat, bend your knees, and bring yourselves down onto your mat. Perfecto. And we are going to do supta, but for now I'm going to take one blanket in the book fold, and that's just going to be for the back of my head, and I'm going to come down, back of my head on the blanket, knees bent, and really lift and tuck your sacrum tailbone. And then I'm going to notice the breastbone up to the ceiling, and I'll lift the feet and look to the right as I take the knees over to the left. And then once they come down, I'll bend the elbows, bring them onto the mat. I want to lift the left shoulder blade, take it to the left, and twist to the right. Now use your hand, your left hand can Hold your right knee down. This space here. So you want to really rotate that outer right hip down, even if you have to use your own hand. So again, if it won't go down on its own, use an L shape and draw down, pulling your outer right hip away from your right side rib cage. And once you get your knees to the left, go to your breastbone and get your breastbone to line up to the ceiling. And really, for me, what that requires is that I move that left shoulder blade and left back rib cage to the left. And then bring your knees and your legs, feet up, and let them go over to the right. And then bend the elbows, right shoulder blade to the right. Now I can bring the breastbone back up to the ceiling, but if you notice the knee lifted up. So I want to try to keep my breastbone up, but draw that inner left knee down. Look to the left. And then go ahead and bring yourself, your legs, your knees back to the center. Put your feet on the mat. Lift your hips, adjust your hips so that again, you're lined up to the ceiling. Now this time I'm gonna go again, knees up. I'm gonna take the knees over to the left. And again, I wanna line the breastbone up to the ceiling. This time I'll straighten both of my knees and see if I can grab my feet or my toes and get the right big toe with the left hand, twist to the right. So I let both of my knees go to the left, and then I straighten my knees with both of my feet and legs to the left, and then see if you can grab your foot, one or both, but twist to the right. And then release your feet and bend your knees, and then bring your legs up. And you'll go over to the right. And remember, they start bent. So you're bending the knees now. Just adjust the shoulder blades, right shoulder blade to the right, get the breastbone back up, and then watch us straighten the knees. Straighten the knees. I try to get, instead of here, I'm going to pull both of my legs up until I can grab my toes with my right hand, twist to the left. And then bend the knees, release, bring it back to the center. Let's keep our head on the blanket, shoulders on the mat. Bring the soles of your feet together just for a moment. See if you can relax your buttocks. But see if you can get even at your sacrum so that the sacrum should be even against the mat. You can even hold your mat, grip it with your hands, your outer mat, and roll your outer arms down. Lift your chest. You can tug on the mat, push the mat away from you using your hands to the outer mat. Draw the mat down and use that to really bring the sacrum down. Hopefully you guys can feel that. So you'll grab your mat and you'll pull your mat away from pull it down towards your feet. And at the same time, move your weight back towards your head. And then release the mat. Go ahead and bring the knees together. And keep your knees bent, feet on the mat. Take your inner knees together and your feet wide a moment. And then I'm going to separate the knees. I'm going to grab my yoga strap. And I think we can keep that blanket that's underneath the back of your head. And I'm going to scoot in so that I can press my left foot against the wall or into the wall. And I don't have a block this time, but the right knee is bent, left leg is straight, left foot is pushing into the wall. I'll again adjust. So I want to get that sacrum long and get my spine flat onto the yoga mat, and I'll bend the right knee and bring the strap around the right heel. Lift the right leg up. And since we've got our head lifted, I want you, when you lift your right leg up, I want you to pull your right leg in as close to your face as you can. And a lot of the work is going to be felt on your left leg. So as you bring your right leg in, really strongly bring the back of your left leg down. Now let your right leg come back where it was. Grab your strap with your right hand. Take your right leg out to the right. Move that left side. Your outer left hip goes down against your mat, guys. Your outer left hip, stretch it down so it doesn't move away from the yoga mat. And then bring your right leg up. Take the left hand to the strap. Take your right leg to the left, but don't twist to your left. Turn your gaze and move your belly button to the right. So here you can really bend your left elbow and really draw that outer right hip down. Keep going. And maybe you can bring the back of your left arm to the mat. Keep your left toe straight up to the ceiling. Twist your belly button to the right. Turn your gaze to the right. Turn your gaze to the right. And then bring your leg back into the center. Grab with your right hand against your strap. Take your right leg out one more time to the right. Bring the back of your left leg against your mat. Straighten your knee, guys. So bring your femur bone towards your hamstring. Good, 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 good. Now press down. Bring your left back of your left leg down. Bring your left buttock flesh down. Make the top and front of your left leg very long. Now bring the right leg up. Keep it really close to your chest. Hold the strap with your left hand. Take your right leg again to the left. Look to your right. Look to your right, guys. Straighten your knee by moving your femur bone towards your hamstring. Bend your left elbow and let the back of your left arm come to the mat. Look to your right. You can even take your right hand and grab your yoga mat. Kind of hold on to your yoga mat with your right hand and draw your right hip back. And then bring your leg back, bend the knee and release. Perfect. Press the wall with your right foot. And before you even take your left leg up, you can see, I don't want this to happen, but you can see that the back of this right leg stays grounded, and so does your lower back. It stays against the yoga mat, so never this or this. So bring your strap around your left foot, and it's just like standing. Where does that left knee go? Towards your chest. And then bring your strap around and extend the leg up. Now pull your left leg in as close to your chest as you can get it to go, but I don't want you to focus so much on your left leg that you lose focus of your back of your right leg. Bring the back of your right leg down, and then bring your left thigh bone towards the back of your left leg. Good. And then you can reach up, bring your leg back where it is, where it was. Reach up, grab your strap, take your left leg out to the left. And when you're doing this, go ahead and look to your right as you take your left leg out. Look to your right. And try to focus on keeping that outer right leg against the mat. It's the outer right leg you want to keep grounded. And you can move your navel opposite of your leg, so your leg is out to the left, so your belly button goes to the right. And then let's very slowly bring this leg up. Take it across the body, that's it. And by now, if you're not using the strap, use your hand or your foot, great. Bring it all the way over. Keep your right toes up. Twist your navel to the left. Look to the left. Keep the back of your head grounded. Keep your breastbone centered. Keep your breastbone level to the ceiling. Straighten your knee, everyone, by bringing your leg bone back. And then bring it back to the center. And then I think we go out again to the left. Go again to the left. Move or take your gaze opposite. Press down to the back of your right leg. It's completely against the mat. That's it. Good. Now see if you can move your belly button to the right. Good. And then bring the leg up and one more time across the body. This time, as you take that leg, try to keep the buttock against the mat. Try to rotate the outer hip down. Compact your hips. It's like a tucking of your hips in. And remember, we've been doing this. Pretend you have a strap tied around your outer hips. So they would be moving in towards one another. Good. And then bring it back to the center. Perfect. Great. And then you can bend the knee and release. Excelente. Very good. Stay on your mats and stay on your blankets. And one more time, soles of the feet together. Your head is still on your blanket. Now see if you maybe have more evenness, not only between your sitting bones and your sacrum, but your hip points. Stretch your arms out or whatever you want to do with your arms, but you're in Baddha Konasana. Bring the belly button down towards your mat. And then you can go ahead and bring your feet onto the mat. Lift your bottom, tuck your sacrum and your tailbone. Let's cross the outer right ankle over the top of the left knee. And just hold that for a moment. If you want, you can L shape and draw the leg bones down. Now, let's go ahead and see. Keep your foot where it is for now, your right foot. But see if you can lift your outer right ankle bone away from your left knee. And bring your inner right ankle bone close to you and grab the outer foot and the outer knee. Use both hands. And then as you're here, guys, you can hug this leg and maybe rock in and out. I call it rocking the baby. And then extend the left leg. Keep your head grounded. And see if you can pull that inner right knee to your chest. And then bend the left, put the left foot on the mat. You can bring the right foot back down against the top of the left knee and then switch sides. So cross that left over and lift and tuck and L shape with both hands. And then what I did here is I brought this inner ankle bone towards me, close enough to where I could grab the outer foot and the outer knee. And then I just rock the baby for a moment, so take it to the right and to the left. And then keep your head grounded, but straighten your right knee. Pull this inner foot in, inner calf muscle into your chest. Keep your head on your prop. And then bend the right knee, put the right foot on the mat, and release your foot here. Great, guys. And then let's bring our knees into the chest. Roll over to your right and come up. And I'm going to use a blanket or two for legs up the wall. But this time, unlike the way that we do it a lot of times, I'm going to use two blankets. You can use one as well, But the difference is going to be that the blankets are going to be a little bit away from the wall and not touching the wall like normal, right? So they're enough away so that I can sit inside between the wall and the blankets like this with the side hip. And then I'll turn and let the legs go up. And when I did that, the bottom went down. So once you get here, make those adjustments. My goal is to come over the blanket and to let the bottom sink to the mat, but without this, without lifting up. So for me, I'd have to come more here and then see if over time my outer legs and my outer hips move down. So the blanket is not touching the wall. It's a few inches away from the wall. You sit with your outer hip to the wall and turn and recline. So this one is a little bit different in the sense that it gives you more of a lift in the chest. So you can even, for me, I would probably need a block there between the blanket and the wall so that I can get even closer to the wall. Except that didn't work. No, for me, I mean, I'm really far away from the wall, but so once you get here, guys, you want to try to get comfortable here. So if you can get your bottom in really close to the wall and maintain that groundedness of the backs of your upper arms and the tops of your shoulders. So this is really where the work is in being able to keep your shoulders grounded while you've got that blanket lift under your lower back. Yeah, that's it. Just a few more moments. Spread the arms out so that you can get that spreading of your chest and the spreading of your shoulder blades. That's wonderful, guys. Wonderful. We're going to rest here for just a few more moments. And if you can, try to bring your legs and your inner feet together. Not you, Joan, because you're doing that. If you're doing Upavista, that's one thing. But if your legs you're intending them to be straight up, bring your feet closer together, the inner feet. So remember, you use your legs in this instance as one big leg. I know that sounds awful, but use it, the oblongs. Have y'all ever seen the oblongs? Anyway, they were really, he didn't have any arms or legs. He was, yeah. And anyway, it was Will, wait, no, not Will Smith, Will Ferrell. And just hilarious. But anyway, so use your two legs and your two hips as one. Isn't that attractive? And it was like when we tied the strap around the outer hips. It's that same idea is that pulls your legs together. It draws your hips together. And in turn, that opens up your low back. Just maybe give me two more minutes here, guys. Your outer legs and your outer, really, it starts at your heel bone. And if you guys remember coming into the studio and doing legs up the wall and having the sandbag on the heels of your feet, if you remember that and you can remember that sensation, maybe that can be recreated. Now, remember when we did that, when we took our legs up and we used the bags on our heels, it was really on our center heel. And this is where the weight is to come from, whether you're lying down or whether you're standing up. And once it moves from your heels and it comes down, and it moves into your lower back and your hips. So the idea is that it spreads through heaviness, it spreads the lower back. So it creates space. Okay, guys, and let's see, we'll go ahead and we'll come out of this. So you can bend your knees and put your feet on the wall and maybe push yourselves back a little bit and use your hands as you roll over and come seated. Ah, perfect. And I've got my blanket still there. I just move my block. And before I go Shavasana, I'm going to take these blankets to my knees or right below my knees. And some of you may have to use even a block on top. But I'm going to reach forward and let my elbows rest on the blanket. And then I'll just let my head come down. You see, elbows are straight, knees are straight. I've got support because I'm using blankets or the blocks. And then I'm not really over straightening. So from here, I'm just letting the head relax. So just a moment and supported Paschimottanasana. Mm-hmm. And you could possibly, there you go, Esther, perfecto. You don't have to reach your feet, guys. Watch. If you're really tight, your blankets go closer to your torso. If you can fold a little further, the blankets will be lower. But if you can't fold very far, bring them up to your thighs, and then watch your hands. See, now it's the back of my arms, but I can be here and get that same release in my back. Yeah, that's it, Esther. And this pose releases the back. So if you get, in this place where you've got a backache and you can't think of anything to do, remember forward folding assists in opening your lower back. Forward folding. Or putting your legs up against the wall or in a chair just to spread again the low back. Okay, that's it. Come out of this nice and slow and prepare for Shavasana. So if you're here, you can roll up, kind of sliding back and literally pulling the belly button back, and then coming up. And then move those blankets to the side or use them however you want. I can take one and bring it under the knees and then just scoop the tailbone and the sacrum and come recline. But take Shavasana however you'd like. Maybe you want to go back up the wall or put your legs in the chair. You want to tie your feet. You can cover your body with the blanket. You can cover your eyes. You can bring a blanket underneath the back of your head if you'd like. So come into Shavasana however you'd like, whatever way is the most comfortable and the most relaxing for you. So once you get here, guys, exhale your breath. Take your arms out to your sides and turn the palms of your hands up towards the ceiling. Check that the tongue is relaxed and is resting at the bottom of the mouth. Check that the eyelids are relaxed, that they're not squeezing together. They're not squeezing the eyeballs with the eyelids. Relax the shoulders, the arm bones, the collarbone. Relax the breastbone. Allow the entire rib cage to relax, and then move to the internal organs that are held within the ribs, within the rib cage. So you can relax even the lungs, the heart, relax the intestines, and all of the organs of your abdominal area. Mainly here, if you're lying flat on your back in Shavasana, relax your bottom, relax your legs, your knees, your ankles, feet, your toes. And the hardest to relax will be the brain. See if you can let the brain move towards the yoga mat. Deepen your breath and begin to move your awareness back into the room. Small movements in the fingers and in the toes when you're ready. Bend the elbows. You can bring your hands to your belly or to your heart. Stretch your arms up and over your head for full body stretch. Bring the belly button towards the mat. And as you exhale the breath, release the arms to the side body and bend the knees one at a time. And as you exhale, you can pull your knees into your heart, wrap your arms around your knees, and any movements here. And then roll over to the right and hold here in a fetal position using the right arm or hand to support the head. And then bring yourselves up to seated position, any seated position that you would like. Hands can come to the heart center, to the third eye, or just resting at the top of your legs. Take a moment in silence here. The practice of yoga also brings out the instinctive weakness of a man or a woman and offers us ways to overcome our intellectual and emotional and instinctive defects. Learning is important for all of us, as is the effort to learn. In learning, there is no fear. Thank you guys so very much for being here. Namaste.